Okay, girls. So I told you that in last class we have discussed about the first unit, and today we'll just revise second unit, that is how human impact on land and air and water and atmosphere, and finally how do we protect earth from land, earth's land, water and air from pollution. We have been studying from the textbook the vocabulary terms, and you all know what are pollutants. And when I speak about land, land degradation, deforestation, desertification, each one by one. So just short, we'll see a small video today, and then we can. Wait a second, girls. Can you hear the video? It will be more in detail because it is biology part, okay? But I'm sure you will understand.
The year is 2100. Human population has reached 10 billion. As temperature rises and ice caps continue to melt, rising sea levels have caused huge swaths of land to be permanently underwater.
See, they're saying that imagine that the year is 2100. Now 2000, we are in 2020. They say imagine it is in 2100.
Has reached 10 billion. As temperature rises and ice caps continue to melt, rising sea levels have caused huge swaths of land to be permanently underwater. Major cities such as London, New York and Mumbai no longer exist.
No longer
Millions of
exist.
people have had to leave their
Imagine,
homes.
girls,
City population have risen.
He's talking about something which will happen after 80 years, that is 2100. He's saying because the ice will melt of these Atlantic and Arctic Ocean so much that half of the cities, like example, London will be no more. Mumbai will be no more. He can imagine all these cities inside the beach, inside the ocean. Imagine all the city does not exist. Jeddah does not exist. Imagine that. Because of the way we are living now, it totally say that it will be affected with global warming. I told you, right, about global warming, the gases like carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, and how these gases are affecting the environment, how these gases are depleting the ozone layer. It's allowing the UV radiation to reach the ground, and that's why we have extreme conditions, either very hot or very cold. And finally, the ice is melting slowly.
And ice caps continue to melt. Rising sea levels have caused huge swaths of land to be permanently underwater. Major cities such as London, New York and Mumbai no longer exist. Millions of people have had to leave their homes, city population have risen, and stepping outside means breathing in extremely polluted air and endangering your life. Once fertile farmland has become unworkable as soil turns into dust. The number of people not getting enough food increases.
Didn't I tell you, like, if we are not taking care of soil, what happens to the soil? What happened to soil degradation? The soil become dry. And some dry. Like example, I gave you a tissue paper which is dry and wet, and you're blowing with fan or with air. Of course, the dried one will fly. They just leave the soil dried, and the land become dry, and then the soil erode. What is the meaning of erosion? Erosion means with the help of air or with help of water, the soil or anything that moves from one place to another with the help of soil, with the help of air, wind, or glaciers.
Rivers and seas are polluted, the provision of clean water an ever-increasing problem. This sounds like the plot of a dystopian novel, but it could end up being real. Since the Industrial Revolution in the late 19th century, the human population has exploded and is now growing at an exponential rate with no signs of slowing down. More people demand more resources and create more pollution, an ever-increasing impact on Earth. Humans cause pollution by burning fossil fuels. We are reliant on them for transport and electricity generation. Burning fossil fuels.
We studied about burning fossil fuels. First, we studied about fossil fuels and non-renewable resources because they might end up. And I told you the natural gas, methane, natural gas. What is natural gas? What your mother is using in the kitchen. That is also
Yeah.
from fossil fuels, burning of dead remains of plants and animals. When you just take dead plants or trees, we make coal out of that, coal. And this coal, when you burn it, when you burn this coal, the fumes coming out, that's carbon monoxide, that's harmful, that causes air pollution. And similarly, we are talking about burning other fossil fuels, burning petroleum, like
releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which is a greenhouse gas. Increased greenhouse gases cause an increase in average global temperatures.
so now you must know what are greenhouse gases. Yes, Zishan, when I ask you what are greenhouse gases, what will you say me? It's carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. Remember, please. What is the difference between carbon dioxide and monoxide? If I write CO2, that is carbon dioxide. If I write CO only, that is only C and O without any number, that's called as carbon mono. Mono means single, that is nothing. Mono means one oxygen, that is monoxide. Dioxide means two oxygens. Trioxide means three oxygens.
Okay. Okay.
Known as the greenhouse effect. This is linked to climate change. This is
What
linked
are greenhouse
to the
gases?
greenhouse
Girls,
effect.
again, greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide.
This is linked to climate change. Some areas of the world releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which is a greenhouse gas. Increased greenhouse gases cause an increase in average global temperatures, known as the greenhouse effect. This is linked to climate change. Some areas of the world are getting wetter and others hotter and drier, and these changes have an impact on ecosystems and biodiversity. If you want to learn more about biodiversity and why it matters, watch this video. For example, warmer weather in the Arctic and the subsequent melting of the sea ice has an effect on animals that are living there. The polar bear is no longer well adapted for living in its habitat and is an endangered species. Humans also require resources. Large areas of forest are cleared to make more room for agriculture or to mine minerals or for growing other resources like palm oil. The removal of trees is called deforestation and has an enormous impact on not only the local ecosystem, but the entire...
I think Noor, she got confused between. Noor is not there. She's not joining anything. Anyways, so when I say about deforestation, what does that mean? Miss Dana, when
Cut down trees.
any idea? Deforestation?
Deforestation when the trees dies or like a
Yeah, when they cut down the forest, when they cut down the trees, or when they cut down something which was built very good with the plants, when they cut down trees, plants, when they destroy plants, or with some disaster, that's also called as deforestation.
the planet. Ancient forests, such as rainforests, are unique ecosystems. They can support a high biodiversity and are home to species that can only live in that habitat. For example, in Borneo, rainforests are being cut down to make room for palm oil plantations. The species that live in the rainforests cannot survive in the plantations. They may not be able to find food or shelter, like orangutans, who are an endangered
They are
species.
saying the ecosystem of rainforest. Of course, they'll be continuously raining. Sometimes it may destroy the plants, but there is an area where they did the deforestation. They removed the forest and they planted all of the palm trees there. So they're saying it's not easy for to survive in the rainforest area because continuous rains will not let it grow better. Because the soil must not be that wet also. It has to be moderate, neither very dry, neither always wet.
You can find out more about endangered species and how conservation is helping them by watching this video. Forests provide services to the planet. They are important in the water cycle, recycling fresh water across the globe. Trees are
Miral, do you remember when I told you water cycle? What were the process inside in water cycle? Zishan, water cycle, what all it have? When the water goes up into the sky, what is that called as?
Yes, Miss.
What is that called? What are the process in water cycle? When the water from the ocean goes up onto the cloud, through which process? With the help of sun.
Uh,
When you boil water at home, what happens? Don't you
It's
think water-
evaporate.
Yes, that is the word I wanted. Evaporation from the ocean, transpiration from the trees. How transpiration? What are we taking in? We take inside oxygen. And what we give out? We give out carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is taken up by the plants and then release oxygen in the air. So this process of taking in carbon dioxide, taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide, or by the plants take carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. So this is one of the major parts in water cycle.
Also able to take in and store carbon dioxide, which helps regulate the Earth's temperature. As well as burning fossil fuels and deforestation, humans also create lots of waste. Sewage, pesticides and fertilizers enter the water. They may contain toxic substances that can kill organisms and impact on whole food webs.
That's what they are saying. When you add fertilizers or insecticides or pesticides to the agriculture, what happens is during the rain flows to the land, and it is actually impacting. Those pesticides are not easy. They are very harmful for the fishes, for the sea animals, and it also have a very bad effect on the water.
Pesticides can accumulate in the tissues of organisms and stay in the environment for many years before being broken down. A combination of a growing population and a throwaway culture, we also have increasing demands for dirty, wasteful landfill. But let's end on a happier note. There is some hope. People are coming to realise the impact we are having on the environment, and governments are aiming to cut down their reliance on fossil fuels and putting schemes into place to help protect forests and endangered species. So, in this video, you've learnt about how human activity has a negative impact on the Earth because of burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and creating waste.
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe.
لأقوى الناس اللي ما يوقفهم شيء.
Can you see it, girls?
Yes.
Mrs. Coco, there were a lot of trees when I visited this forest last month. What happened?
Spiky, they were cut down. There are many reasons why people cut down trees. They cut them for wood or to clear the land for construction of houses and buildings. Sometimes, forests are cleared for mining as well. This is known as deforestation. Deforestation is the destruction of forests to make the land available for other uses.
That's so sad. The scenery used to be much better with the trees.
Yes, but deforestation affects more than just the beauty of a place. It also has a negative impact on the environment. The roots of the trees hold the soil together. When we remove the trees, the soil is exposed and often blown away by the wind or washed away by rain. The eroded soil is deposited in rivers and streams, blocking the flow of water. The water level in the rivers then rises rapidly, causing floods. Also, when this topsoil
Are you able to understand? It's very clearly given here.
erodes, plant growth becomes impossible and the land becomes barren, like a desert. This is known as desertification.
Remember, you had this desertification. That means once it was a very healthy land, but when no one is taking care of that, the land becomes dry. And of course, dried land is very prone to what you call as, I told you, erosion. Erosion. It can fly away. The particles can erode very quickly.
Oh no, Mrs. Coco. We are harming the environment on such a large scale.
Not only the environment, Spiky, we are also harming the wildlife. This includes wild plants and animals. When we cut trees down, we are leaving less space for animals to live. Think about all the animals that live in forests. Where would they go if we destroy those forests? We are destroying their homes. Also, animals that eat plants for food, what would they eat? As a result, many animals.
Okay, girls, just a quick revision. What are those animals called? They eat only plants. Anyone who remember?
Herbivore.
Herbivore, omnivore, and carnivores. Those only eat plants.
Herbivore.
No, it's herbivores. The word herbs come from plants. Herbivores only plants. Carnivore only meat. And omnivore, it's both plant,
Both.
vegetables and non-vegetables. Okay.
Animals do not survive, and sometimes they even go extinct.
On top of that, humans hunt and kill animals too.
Yes, hunting is one of the major factors contributing to the extinction of wildlife species. Sadly, we don't stop there. Apart from deforestation and hunting,
Hello, girls?
we have polluted the air,
Hello?
land, and water.
Hello?